Along a dirt road in the town of Sedef, there is a dusty, gray-colored small house where Jack Daniels keeps quietly to himself. He is a tall, thin man who is always looking over his shoulder as if somebody is following him. In the area of town where he lives, it always has the stench of manure from the fertilizer plant nearby. In addition, there is a fine gray dust that covers everything, which gives the area a dull, saddened look. Most of the town people don't ever come down this way. The only people who are here are the ones that the town folk do not want to acknowledge. The rest of the town is just a regular working class town where many people are employed by the factory. Jack is very careful when he touches things, and he tries to not use his hands as much as possible. He always seems to be very nervous when he has to touch something when he is not wearing his gloves, which he always seems to have on, even in summer. He is a small-time drug dealer who acts strangely because he never hands drugs to anybody when they come to pick it up. He just leaves the drug on the table when they come in and just tells them to leave the money. The local police chief knows that Jack is a drug dealer, but he cannot prove it because Jack is very careful with his business. The police chief also thinks that he is hiding something because of the strange way he acts. One of the easiest places for the police chief to observe Jack is the less strict bar across from the Waffle House, where Jack frequently goes. While Jack is in the bar, he tries to not drink too much so he can control himself and people don't find out the truth about him. Jack always uses napkins to pick everything up, and he explains his odd behavior by saying that he is afraid of germs, which is why he does not touch anything with his hands. Being afraid of germs is also the reason why Jack regularly visits the hospital. In reality, Jack visits the hospital to gather drugs to sell out of his house. In order to get in the hospital, Jack has to pass the less strict bar, which is why he is frequently there. One day at the bar, a conversation started between two doctors about a new drug that had just been approved for use by the FDA. Jack overheard the conversation and moved closer to hear what was being discussed. The name of the drug was Sozi and is used to treat hyperactive thyroids, but it also has a side effect of causing a feeling of euphoria for most of the people who take it. Jack excitedly joined the conversation about the drug. He seemed to have quite a bit of knowledge about it. In his excitement, Jack picked up his glass and had a drink while he was talking without his normal napkin or gloves. The police chief happened to be in bar at the time and saw Jack's little slip up. Without noticing, the chief grabbed the empty glass to see what he can find out about Jack's from his fingerprint. The next day, Jack was making his usual visit to the hospital to steal some drugs to sell. On his way out, the police chief was waiting for him. The chief said to Jack, "You are under arrest. You are coming with me to the station." Jack was handcuffed and put into the police car for the ride to the station. At the station, Jack was brought into the interrogation room for questioning. The chief asked Jack if he knew why they arrested him, to which Jack replied, "No, I have no idea." The chief said, "I took your fingerprints off of your glass at the bar last night. You have unique fingerprints. Your fingers are long and thin, but your fingerprints are unusually large. They matched a set of fingerprints found on a metal case that was used to kill Senator George Sink." Jack said, "Yes, I know the box you are talking about, and I know the senator as well. I don't know who killed him, but I know that I'm not the one. I used to be an executive for the new drug company which makes Sozi, and Senator Sink was trying to get me to give him the drug in exchange for him influencing the FDA's approval of it. He gave me a metal box filled with large amount of money to try to convince me, but I said no and dumped the box on his office floor in disgust. I didn't want to become a drug dealer just to get approval for Sozi. I left his office and went home, but he was still alive when I left. On the news that night, I heard about Senator Singh's murder and that the murderer's fingerprints were found on the metal box that was used to kill him. I knew that I would be blamed for it, and I decided to hide, so I came here to Sadef to hide out." Jack laughs, and the chief asked him, "Why are you laughing?" Jack responded, "I am here because I didn't want to become a drug dealer to a senator, but here I had to become a drug dealer to survive, so I became what I didn't want to be anyway in the end."